The council chamber of Zephyria Prime stretched endlessly in all directions, its crystalline walls pulsing with soft bioluminescent patterns that reflected the emotional states of the gathered beings. Today, those patterns swirled with deep purples and oranges, colors that spoke of unease and growing concern among the most powerful entities in the known galaxy. Ambassador Kelthera adjusted her ceremonial robes, the fabric woven from starlight itself, as she approached the central speaking platform. Her four arms moved gracefully, each gesture carrying diplomatic weight accumulated over 3 centuries of service to the Galactic Confederation. The silver neural implants at her temples flickered as she accessed the vast databases of her species, preparing for what might be the most important address of her career. Around the circular chamber, representatives from 47 different species observed her approach. The Vorthan hegemony's insectoid delegates clicked their mandibles in rhythmic patterns of attention. The energy beings from the Luminar collective pulsed with curious light spectra. Even the ancient architects, beings so old they remembered the formation of the first galaxies, had materialized their consciousness in semi-physical forms to attend this emergency session. Honored representatives, Kelthera began, her voice carrying across the chamber through both sound waves and telepathic resonance. I come before you today not as an ambassador of my people, but as a witness to something that has shaken me to my very core. The chamber fell silent. In the 3 millennia since the Galactic Confederation had been established, few things could shake a being of Kelthera's experience and status. She had negotiated peace between the crystal-based miners of Zirian and the flame dancers of Pyros 7. She had mediated disputes between dimensions. Yet now, her normally composed demeanor showed cracks of genuine fear. 6 rotations ago, I was assigned to make first contact with a species on the outer rim of the galaxy. Designation: Sol System, 3rd planet. Species name: Humanity. According to our preliminary surveys, they were a young civilization, barely a few thousand cycles old in terms of recorded history. Technologically, they had just achieved primitive spaceflight. Culturally, they appeared to be a typical emerging species with the usual traits: tribalism, resource competition, and a tendency toward territorial disputes. A low murmur rippled through the assembly. First contact protocols were well established, and encounters with young civilizations were routine. The Confederation had uplifted thousands of species over the eons, guiding them toward galactic citizenship with patience and wisdom. I approached their planet with standard diplomatic protocols. Kelthera continued, her voice growing more strained. The initial contact went according to established procedures. I landed near one of their major population centers, activated the universal translator matrices, and requested an audience with their governing bodies. The humans were curious, excited even. They welcomed me with what I later learned was a reception they reserved for honored guests. She paused, accessing her memory files through her neural implants. The holographic display in the center of the chamber shimmered to life, showing images of Earth as she had first seen it. Blue oceans sparkled under a yellow star. White clouds drifted over green continents, and city lights twinkled like scattered gems across the night side of the planet. Their world was beautiful, she said softly. Not unique in its beauty, perhaps, but there was something about it that felt alive, vibrant. The humans themselves were fascinating in their diversity. Unlike many species that achieve unity through biological or cultural homogenization, humans had maintained incredible variety in their appearance, beliefs, languages, and customs while still managing to establish planetary communication networks. The Vorthan delegate interrupted with a series of sharp clicks. The translation matrix converted his meaning. Respected Ambassador, surely this is not cause for an emergency session. Diverse emerging species are not uncommon. Kelthera's 4 eyes focused on the Vorthan representative with an intensity that made several nearby delegates shift uncomfortably. Commander Vex, 9, what I am about to tell you is precisely why this session was necessary. Please allow me to continue. The holographic display shifted to show recordings of her initial meetings with human leaders, men and women in various types of formal attire, their faces showing expressions of wonder, curiosity, and cautious optimism. They had offered her food, despite not knowing if her physiology could process it. They had shown her their art, their music, their literature. Children had gathered around her transport ship, their eyes wide with excitement rather than fear. For the first 10 days, everything proceeded normally. The humans were remarkably adaptable to the concept of galactic civilization. Their leaders were intelligent, their scientists were eager to learn, and their people showed an almost unprecedented enthusiasm for joining the greater galactic community. I began preparation of the standard uplift protocols. Kelthra's image in the holographic display showed her meeting with various human officials, exchanging gifts, and participating in what appeared to be ceremonial functions. The atmosphere seemed peaceful, optimistic even. Then, she said, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper, the incident occurred. The chamber's bioluminescent patterns shifted to darker hues as every being present leaned forward in attention. Even the architects, normally aloof and disinterested in the affairs of younger species, focused their ancient consciousness more intently on her words. I was staying in what the humans called the United Nations building in a city called New York. My quarters were on the 42nd floor, high above the city streets. I was reviewing the cultural assessment data when I heard sounds from outside my window. Shouting, running. The humans have a particularly effective alarm system they use for emergencies, and suddenly, it was sounding throughout the city. The holographic display changed to show news footage from Earth's various broadcast networks. Images of crowds fleeing through streets, emergency vehicles with flashing lights, and news anchors with grim expressions speaking rapidly into communication devices. According to the reports I later gathered, a group of humans from what they called a terrorist organization had somehow acquired information about my presence on their planet. These humans believed that contact with galactic civilization would somehow harm their species or their planet. They had managed to construct what the humans term a dirty bomb and had detonated it 6 blocks from the United Nations building. A collective intake of breath, or its equivalent across the various species present, rippled through the chamber. Terrorist attacks on first contact situations were not unknown, but they were typically handled through standard security protocols. The blast itself was relatively minor by galactic standards, Kelthra continued. My personal shields protected me from any harm, and the radiation levels, while dangerous to human physiology, posed no threat to my biology. However, the explosion killed 43 humans immediately and exposed several hundred others to lethal levels of radiation. The display showed images of the aftermath, damaged buildings, emergency responders in protective gear, and medical facilities overwhelmed with casualties. But what struck the assembled delegates as most significant was Kelthra's expression as she narrated these events. The fear in her eyes was not the fear of physical danger, but something deeper and more profound. I expected the humans to blame me for the attack, she said. It is a common response among emerging species when first contact situations result in casualties. I prepared to implement standard damage control protocols and potentially recommend that humanity be placed on the delayed contact list for another few centuries. She paused again, her hands trembling slightly as she accessed more memory files. But that is not what happened. The holographic display shifted to show new footage. Human leaders standing before podiums, their faces set in expressions of cold determination. Military personnel moving with precise, coordinated efficiency. Scientists working frantically in laboratories, their usual academic calm replaced by something far more intense. Within 6 hours of the attack, the humans had identified not just the individuals who carried it out, but their entire organization. Within 12 hours, they had located every member, every supporter, every financial backer, and every individual who had provided even minimal assistance. Within 18 hours, they had eliminated the entire network. The word eliminated hung in the air like a physical presence. Several of the more peaceful species in the chamber shifted uncomfortably, while others leaned forward with intense interest. But, Honored Ambassador, interjected the Luminar Collective spokesperson, their translated voice carrying harmonics of confusion. Such efficiency in counterterrorism operations, while impressive, is not unprecedented among emerging species. Why does this warrant? Because, Kelther interrupted, they did not stop there. The holographic display changed again, this time showing a sequence of images that made even the war-experienced Vorthan delegates click their mandibles in what their species used to express shock. Satellite imagery showed military movements across multiple continents, financial networks being systematically dismantled, communication intercepts showing coordination between human agencies that had never before worked together. The humans did not just eliminate the terrorist organization. In the span of 72 hours, they systematically identified and neutralized every person, every group, every government, every corporation, and every ideology on their planet that posed even a theoretical threat to galactic integration. They did not ask for my assistance. They did not request galactic intervention. They simply acted. The chamber fell completely silent. The bioluminescent patterns on the walls had shifted to deep reds and blacks, colors associated with alarm and incomprehension. I watched through their communication networks. As they worked, Kelthera continued, her voice now barely audible. There was no anger in their actions. No rage, no emotional outbursts. They approached the elimination of threats to galactic contact with the same methodical precision they might use to repair a piece of machinery or solve a mathematical equation. It was not vengeance. It was not justice. It was simply removal of obstacles. The Architect Collective spoke for the first time, their voice carrying the weight of eons. Ambassador Kelthera, you speak as one who has witnessed something beyond her understanding. What exactly did you observe that has brought such fear to your essence? Kelthera looked directly at the manifested consciousness of beings older than most stars. Honored architects, I observed a species that, when threatened, does not simply fight back. They restructure reality itself to eliminate the source of the threat. In those 72 hours, the humans changed their entire planetary civilization. Laws that had existed for centuries were rewritten overnight. Governments that had been enemies for generations began working in perfect coordination. Economic systems that had been in competition for resources seamlessly integrated into unified purpose. She paused, her forearms spreading in a gesture of bewilderment. But, most disturbing of all, they did this while maintaining complete normalcy in their daily lives. Children still went to schools. Workers still performed their duties. Entertainment continued. Art was created. Love was made. Families gathered for meals. It was as if the elimination of thousands of potential threats was simply another task to be completed, no more emotionally significant than their daily maintenance of infrastructure. The holographic display now showed split-screen images. On one side, military and intelligence operations of staggering complexity and ruthless efficiency. On the other, humans going about their normal lives with apparent calm and contentment. In my 3 centuries of diplomatic service, Kelthera said, I have encountered species that were more technologically advanced than humans. I have met civilizations that were more intellectually developed. I have negotiated with beings of vast psychic power and others of incredible physical strength. But I have never encountered a species that could maintain such complete separation between their capacity for systematic elimination of threats and their capacity for normal, peaceful existence. She moved closer to the central platform, her eyes scanning the assembled representatives. What terrifies me is not what the humans did. What terrifies me is how easily they did it, and how little it seemed to affect them. They did not see their actions as extreme or unusual. When I asked their leaders about the systematic elimination of the terrorist networks, they seemed genuinely confused by my concern. To them, It was simply a logical response to a threat against something they valued. The Vorthan commander clicked rapidly. Surely, Ambassador, you exaggerate. No emerging species possesses such capability for organized response. Kelthra's expression grew even more grave. Commander Vex, 9. I have brought complete documentation of everything I observed. The humans willingly provided me with full access to their records of the operation. They were proud of their efficiency. They wanted me to understand how seriously they took the protection of galactic contact. The holographic display shifted to show data streams, communication logs, organizational charts, and timeline analyses. The complexity and coordination displayed in the human response was indeed staggering, showing a level of systemic integration that most species achieved only after centuries of galactic contact and technological uplift. Furthermore, Kelthra continued, when I asked the human leaders what they would do if a more significant threat to galactic integration emerged, they showed me contingency plans they had developed in the days following the terrorist attack. Plans for dealing with potential alien invasion. Plans for defending against galactic conquest. Plans for... She hesitated, her voice catching slightly. Plans for asymmetric warfare against space-faring civilizations. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of clicks, harmonics, telepathic bursts, and other forms of species-specific communication expressing shock and disbelief. The Confederation had never encountered an emerging species that immediately began developing anti-galactic warfare strategies. The humans had analyzed our technology, our biology, our culture, and our military capabilities based solely on their observations of my ship and equipment, Kelthra said, speaking over the noise. In less than a week, they had developed theoretical strategies for defeating galactic intervention forces, disrupting interstellar supply lines, and conducting guerrilla warfare across multiple star systems. The noise gradually subsided as the implications of her words sank in. But most disturbing of all, she concluded, when I expressed concern about these military preparations, the human leaders seemed genuinely surprised that I would find them threatening. From their perspective, they were simply being prudent. They said that any species that truly wanted peaceful galactic integration would not be concerned about their ability to defend themselves, and any species that was concerned about human defensive capabilities probably had intentions that justified human concerns. The silence that followed was profound. For several long moments, the only sound in the chamber was the subtle harmonics of the various life support systems, maintaining optimal environments for each species present. Finally, the Architect Collective spoke again. Ambassador Kelthra, what is your recommendation regarding humanity? Kelthra looked around the chamber, her four eyes meeting the gaze of as many representatives as possible. Honored beings, I believe we stand at a crossroads that will determine the future of galactic civilization. The humans represent something we have never encountered before. A species that appears to possess unlimited escalation potential combined with perfect emotional compartmentalization. They can apparently scale their response to any level of threat while maintaining complete psychological stability and social cohesion. She paused, gathering her thoughts. If we choose to integrate humanity into galactic civilization as allies, we may find ourselves with the most formidable partners we have ever known. Their innovation, their adaptability, and their systematic approach to problem-solving could benefit every member of the Confederation. The chamber's bioluminescent patterns shifted to lighter hues as hope began to temper the earlier alarm. However, Kelthra continued, and the patterns darken again. If we choose to treat them as a threat to be contained or eliminated, I believe we may discover that we have awakened something that even the combined might of the Galactic Confederation cannot control. She moved to the very center of the speaking platform. The humans have a saying, speak softly and carry a big stick. But I believe their true philosophy runs deeper than that. They seem to believe that the most effective way to ensure peace is to be so obviously capable of devastating violence that no rational being would ever choose conflict with them. The assembled representatives absorbed this information each processing it through the lens of their own species' experience and understanding. In conclusion, Kelthera said, I recommend that we proceed with extreme caution. The humans appear genuinely interested in peaceful galactic citizenship, but they will not accept any arrangement in which they are not treated as equals. They will not be conquered, they will not be subjugated, and they will not be controlled. Any attempt to impose dominance over them will result in consequences that I do not believe we are prepared to face. She stepped back from the center platform, her formal address complete. I am now prepared to answer any questions the Assembly may have regarding my observations and recommendations. The chamber erupted once again, but this time the sounds carried a different quality. Where before there had been shock and alarm, now there was intense debate and strategic calculation. The representatives of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations had just been informed that a new player had entered the cosmic game, one whose capabilities and intentions challenged every assumption they had held about emerging species. As the debate raged around her, Ambassador Kelthera stood quietly, her memory files replaying scenes from her final day on Earth. Human children laughing in playgrounds while their parents discussed casualty reports. Scientists making breakthrough discoveries while intelligence analysts tracked down terrorist cells. Artists creating beautiful music while military strategists planned interstellar defense scenarios. She remembered the words of the human Secretary General, spoken just before her departure. Ambassador, please convey to your Confederation that humanity extends its hand in friendship to all peaceful beings. We hope for nothing more than to join the galactic community as contributing citizens. But also please convey that we will defend our right to exist as a free species with every resource at our disposal, using any means necessary, for as long as necessary, against any force that threatens us, regardless of its origin or capabilities. The Secretary General had smiled warmly as he said this, the same gentle smile he had worn when playing with his grandchildren earlier that day. It was that smile that haunted Kelthera's dreams. The debates in the council chamber of Zephyria Prime continued for 3 full rotations after Ambassador Kelthera's initial presentation. Representatives from 47 different species argued, analyzed, and strategized about the human situation with an intensity rarely seen in galactic politics. The Vorthan hegemony pushed for immediate military assessment of human capabilities. The Luminar Collective advocated for cautious diplomatic engagement. The ancient architects remained ominously silent, their consciousness withdrawn into deep contemplation. On the 4th rotation, Kelthera received an urgent communication through her neural implants. The message originated from the Confederation's Deep Space Monitoring Network, a system of sensor arrays positioned throughout the galaxy to track emerging civilizations and potential threats. What the message contained made her 4 hearts race with patterns of genuine alarm. Honored representatives, she announced, interrupting a heated debate between the crystalline delegates from Zirian Prime and the gaseous beings from the Nebula territories. I have just received intelligence that fundamentally changes our situation regarding humanity. The chamber fell silent with remarkable speed. When an experienced diplomat like Kelthera used words like fundamentally changes, wise beings paid attention. The Deep Space Monitoring Network has detected massive energy signatures emanating from the Sol system, she continued, accessing the data files through her implants. These signatures are consistent with rapid technological advancement occurring at a rate that violates all known models of species development. The central holographic display activated, showing a 3-dimensional map of local galactic space. A small yellow star near the outer rim pulsed with increasing brightness, surrounded by data streams that painted an increasingly complex picture. According to our sensors, the humans have achieved breakthrough advances in multiple areas of technology in the 27 days since I departed their planet. They have developed functional faster-than-light communication, advanced energy manipulation systems, and what appears to be preliminary faster-than-light travel capability. A collective sound of disbelief echoed through the chamber. The transformation from primitive space flight to faster-than-light capability typically required centuries of gradual development, even with galactic assistance. Commander Vex, 9 of the Vorthan hegemony, clicked rapidly. Impossible. No species achieves such advancement without external technological assistance. Either your sensors are malfunctioning, or another galactic power is interfering with human development. Kelthra's expression grew even more grave. Commander, our sensors are functioning perfectly, and there is no evidence of external assistance. According to our analysis, the humans are accomplishing these breakthroughs through pure indigenous research and development. She manipulated the holographic display to show detailed technical readouts. Energy patterns, mathematical equations, and technological specifications scrolled past in streams of data that few beings in the galaxy would be able to comprehend, let alone achieve independently. Furthermore, Kelthra continued, the rate of advancement is not slowing. If current trends continue, human technological capability will exceed that of many established galactic civilizations within one local solar cycle. The Architect Collective finally spoke, their ancient voice carrying undertones of concern that sent chills through every being present. Ambassador Kelthra, show us the specific nature of these human developments. The display shifted to show intercepted communications from Earth's scientific networks. What they revealed painted a picture of a species that had somehow unlocked unprecedented levels of innovation and cooperation in the wake of the terrorist incident. The humans appear to have entered what they are calling a unity protocol, Kelthra explained. Following the threat to galactic contact, their entire species has reorganized itself around the singular goal of achieving technological and social advancement sufficient to ensure their security in a galactic environment. The display showed images of Earth that were almost unrecognizable from Kelthra's initial visit. Massive construction projects dotted every continent. Research facilities that dwarfed anything previously seen were rising from the ground with impossible speed. Transportation networks were being rebuilt with technology that seemed to advance daily. The humans have essentially transformed their entire planetary civilization into a research and development project, she said. Every university, every laboratory, every manufacturing facility, every educational institution has been reorganized to contribute to technological advancement. But more importantly, they have somehow eliminated the competitive barriers that typically limit species development. Representative Zeiler from the Crystalline Confederacy transmitted a question through harmonic resonance. Explain the nature of this cooperation, Ambassador. Our analysis suggests that human civilization was highly fragmented prior to galactic contact. Kelthra nodded, her 4 arms moving in gestures of acknowledgement. That is correct, Representative Zeiler. When I first arrived, humanity was divided into nearly 200 different political entities with varying levels of cooperation and frequent conflicts over resources and territory. However, the terrorist attack appears to have triggered what the humans are calling a species preservation response. The display showed a series of rapid-fire images, political leaders from formerly hostile nations working together in the same facilities, military forces from different countries coordinating with seamless precision, scientists sharing research data in real time across the globe. Within hours of eliminating the terrorist threat, the humans began implementing coordination protocols that they appear to have developed in advance for exactly this type of scenario. They had apparently spent decades creating contingency plans for species-wide cooperation in response to existential threats. She paused, accessing more detailed files. The most remarkable aspect of this transformation is that the humans have maintained their cultural diversity and individual freedoms while achieving complete operational unity. They have not homogenized their civilization, but rather optimized it for maximum efficiency while preserving everything they value about their social structures. Commander Vex, 9 interrupted with aggressive clicking. You speak as though this is admirable, Ambassador. To the Vorthan military analysis, this represents a clear threat. A species that can achieve such rapid technological advancement while maintaining social cohesion is precisely the type of force that could destabilize galactic balance. Kelthera turned her four eyes toward the Vorthan representative with an expression that made several nearby delegates step backward. Commander Vex, 9, you have not yet heard the most significant development. The chamber's atmosphere grew tense as every being present focused intently on her words. The humans have detected our monitoring networks. The silence that followed was absolute. The Deep Space Monitoring Network used technology that was supposed to be undetectable by any civilization below level 7 on the galactic development scale. Humans were barely level 2. Moreover, Kelthera continued, they have sent a message. The holographic display changed to show what appeared to be a simple communication beacon, but the data streams surrounding it revealed complexity that defied easy categorization. Mathematical proofs, technological demonstrations, and linguistic patterns that seemed to adapt in real time to the receiver's analysis methods. The message contains several components, she explained. First, a mathematical proof demonstrating that they understand the fundamental principles underlying our faster-than-light monitoring technology. Second, technical specifications for improvements to our sensor arrays that would increase their efficiency by approximately 30%. Third, a diplomatic communication addressed directly to the Galactic Confederation Council. She paused, her hands trembling slightly as she accessed the message content. The diplomatic portion reads as follows. To the honored representatives of galactic civilization, humanity extends its gratitude for the opportunity to join the cosmic community. We understand that our rapid development may cause concern among established species. We wish to assure you that our advancement is motivated solely by the desire to contribute meaningfully to galactic civilization and to ensure that we can defend our right to exist as an independent member of the galactic community. The message continued to scroll across the display in dozens of different languages and communication formats, each perfectly adapted to different species' methods of information processing. We have detected your monitoring systems and wish to be transparent about our development. We invite formal diplomatic contact to discuss our integration into galactic civilization as equals and partners. We hope for friendship with all peaceful species and offer our cooperation in addressing common challenges facing galactic civilization. Representative Thymau, from the Energy Collective pulsed with questioning frequencies. Ambassador, does the message contain any threats or demands? Kelthera's expression grew even more troubled. Representative Thymau, that is precisely what concerns me most. The message contains no threats whatsoever. It is entirely diplomatic and cooperative. However, she manipulated the display to show deeper analysis of the communication's underlying technical structure. The message was transmitted using technology that should not exist. The humans have somehow developed faster-than-light communication systems that are more advanced than anything currently in use by galactic civilizations. Furthermore, the transmission was directed through quantum channels that we believed were known only to level 9 civilizations. The implication struck every being in the chamber simultaneously. A species that could develop such advanced communication technology in less than 30 days could theoretically develop equally advanced military technology in the same time frame. Additionally, Kelthera continued, our analysis of the transmission's origin points suggest that the humans have established multiple off-world facilities in their solar system. They appear to have begun large-scale, space-based industrial operations using methods we do not understand. Commander Vex, 9 was clicking so rapidly that his translation matrix struggled to keep up. This confirms our assessment that humanity represents a clear and present danger to galactic stability. We recommend immediate military intervention to prevent further unauthorized technological development. The Architect Collective's response carried a weight of authority that silenced all other discussion. Commander Vex 9, your military perspective, while understandable, may be precisely the type of thinking that could precipitate the exact scenario we wish to avoid. The ancient beings manifested their consciousness more fully, their presence becoming almost tangible in the chamber's atmosphere. We have observed the rise and fall of countless civilizations over the eons, they continued. In our experience, species that achieve rapid technological advancement typically do so through one of three pathways: external assistance, desperate necessity, or unprecedented natural capability. They paused, their attention seeming to focus on data streams invisible to the younger species. The humans have received no external assistance. While desperate necessity might explain initial advancement, it cannot account for the continued acceleration of development. This leaves us with the possibility that humanity possesses natural capabilities we have never before encountered. The chamber absorbed this analysis with varying degrees of alarm and fascination. Furthermore, the architects continued. The nature of their diplomatic communication suggests a level of strategic thinking that is far more sophisticated than their technological advancement alone would indicate. They have demonstrated understanding of galactic politics, power dynamics, and communication protocols without any previous exposure to galactic civilization. Kelfer nodded in agreement. Honored architects, this assessment aligns with my direct observations. The humans seem to intuitively understand concepts that typically require centuries of galactic exposure to comprehend. They anticipated questions and concerns that emerging species normally do not consider until much later in their development. She accessed additional memory files from her time on Earth. For example, when I mentioned the existence of Level 9 civilizations, the human leaders immediately asked about the criteria for achieving higher levels of development. When I explained that technological advancement must be balanced with social stability and peaceful intentions, they began developing frameworks for maintaining their cultural values while achieving technological progress. The displays showed recordings of her conversations with human leaders, their faces showing intense concentration as they absorb information that would overwhelm most emerging species. But what impressed me most was their systematic approach to preparing for scenarios they had no previous reason to consider. Within days of learning about galactic civilization, they had developed contingency plans for every type of contact scenario: friendly integration, hostile conquest, benevolent supervision, and competitive coexistence. Representative Zorthan from the Telepathic Union projected a question directly into the minds of all present. Ambassador, did the humans demonstrate any psychic capabilities during your visit? Kelfer's four eyes widened slightly. Representative Zorthan, they did not demonstrate conscious psychic abilities, but there were several incidents that suggested latent potential far beyond normal parameters. She accessed specific memory files, her expression growing more troubled as she reviewed them. On several occasions, human individuals seemed to anticipate my thoughts or concerns before I expressed them. Initially, I attributed this to exceptional emotional intelligence and observational skills. However, upon reflection, the consistency and accuracy of their anticipations suggested something more. The display showed recordings of her interactions with various humans, highlighting moments where they had responded to unspoken concerns or answered questions she had not yet asked. Furthermore, the speed with which human society achieved coordination after the terrorist attack suggests communication and decision-making processes that operate more efficiently than purely technological systems should allow. They seem to achieve consensus on complex issues with remarkable speed and accuracy. The Telepathic Union representative projected another question. Could this indicate natural group consciousness capabilities? It is possible, Kelfer replied. However, if the humans do possess latent psychic abilities, they're either unaware of them or concealing them deliberately. Given their demonstrated strategic thinking capabilities, either possibility should concern us. The debate that followed filled another full rotation, but the tone had shifted significantly. Where initially the representatives had been shocked by human technological advancement, now they were grappling with the possibility that humanity might possess multiple forms of advanced capability that they either did not understand or were choosing not to reveal. Finally, the Architect Collective called for order. Representatives of the Galactic Confederation, we believe the time for theoretical debate has passed. The human situation requires direct action, but the nature of that action will determine the future trajectory of galactic civilization. They paused, their ancient consciousness seeming to weigh possibilities across vast spans of time. We propose that a formal diplomatic mission be dispatched to the Sol system immediately. This mission should be led by our most experienced diplomats and should include representatives from multiple species. The purpose will be to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity and to assess their true capabilities and intentions through direct interaction. Commander Vex 9 clicked aggressively, and if the humans proved to be hostile to galactic civilization, the Architect's response carried undertones that made every being in the chamber feel the weight of cosmic time. Commander, based on Ambassador Kelthra's reports and our analysis of human communications, we believe that hostility toward galactic civilization is the least likely scenario. The humans appear genuinely interested in peaceful integration. They paused again, their consciousness seeming to touch upon possibilities that stretched beyond normal perception. However, if the humans were to determine that galactic civilization posed a threat to their continued existence as a free species, we believe the consequences would extend far beyond anything the Confederation has ever faced. Therefore, our approach must ensure that such a determination never occurs. The chamber fell silent as the implications settled upon every representative present. The ancient architects, beings who had witnessed the rise and fall of galactic empires, were suggesting that a single emerging species might pose a threat to the established order of cosmic civilization. Ambassador Kelthra stepped forward once more. Honored architects, esteemed representatives, I volunteer to return to Earth as part of the diplomatic mission. My previous contact with humanity may prove valuable in establishing productive communication. She looked around the chamber, meeting as many gazes as possible. However, I must emphasize that any diplomatic mission to humanity must be conducted with absolute transparency and respect for human autonomy. The humans have demonstrated that they will respond to perceived threats with overwhelming efficiency. Our approach must leave no room for misunderstanding about our intentions. The Vorthan commander clicked one final time, and if our diplomatic mission fails to achieve satisfactory results, Ambassador Kelthra's response would haunt the dreams of every being present for cycles to come. Commander Vex 9, based on my observations of human capability and psychology, if our diplomatic mission fails, it will likely be the last failure the Galactic Confederation ever makes. The diplomatic mission to Earth launched from Zephyria Prime 7 rotations after the emergency council session concluded. The vessel chosen for this historic journey was the Harmony of Spheres, one of the Confederation's most advanced diplomatic ships, equipped with technology from 12 different civilizations and designed to serve as a mobile embassy capable of hosting representatives from any known species. Ambassador Kelthra stood in the ship's central observation deck, watching the stars shift into familiar patterns as they approached the Sol system. Beside her, a carefully selected team of the galaxy's finest diplomats prepared for what might be the most important first contact scenario in galactic history. High Diplomat Xantharix of the Crystalline Confederacy hummed with harmonic frequencies that indicated deep concentration. His crystalline form captured and refracted the starlight into complex patterns that served as both communication and emotional expression for his species. As the Confederation's leading expert in cultural integration protocols, he had successfully guided 43 species into galactic civilization. Next to him floated Consciousness-Bearer Lumith of the Energy Collective, a being of pure, organized energy whose expertise lay in psychic communication and understanding non-physical aspects of consciousness. The translucent, ever-shifting form pulsed with colors that indicated both curiosity and concern about the mission ahead. Admiral Vorthak of the Hegemony stood in his full ceremonial armor, His insectoid features set in expressions that few non-Vorthan beings could read, but which Kelthra recognized as indicators of tactical assessment. Despite the diplomatic nature of their mission, the Confederation Council had insisted on military representation to evaluate human defensive capabilities. Dr. Tyson, 9, a synthetic intelligence from the Machine Collective, processed data streams at rates that would overwhelm organic minds. Her primary responsibility was technological assessment and ensuring that any human innovations were properly documented for galactic analysis. Finally, Observer Keth of the Temporal Guild monitored probability streams and potential future outcomes with abilities that existed at the edge of galactic understanding. The tall, ethereal being rarely spoke but provided invaluable guidance on the long-term consequences of diplomatic decisions. Approaching the Sol System's outer boundary, announced the ship's AI in the universal galactic language, detecting multiple artificial structures throughout the system. Kelthra moved to the central display, her four eyes widening as she observed the changes that had occurred in the 41 days since her departure. The relatively empty space around Earth's star now showed signs of massive industrial development. "This is impossible," High Diplomat Xintharix harmonized, his crystalline form pulsing with frequencies of disbelief. According to the timetables provided by Ambassador Kelthra, the humans had barely achieved basic spaceflight. These structures suggest industrial capabilities that would require centuries to develop. Dr. Tyson 9's synthetic voice carried undertones of fascination, analyzing structural configurations. The human space-based facilities demonstrate engineering principles that appear to be more efficient than current galactic standards. They have achieved greater industrial output with less energy expenditure than established mathematical models suggest should be possible. Admiral Vorthak clicked with patterns that indicated military concern. These are not merely industrial facilities. Sensor analysis reveals defensive installations, communication arrays, and what appear to be mobile construction platforms. The humans have essentially militarized their entire solar system in less than 2 months. Observer Keth spoke for the first time since their departure, their voice carrying harmonics that seemed to echo from possible futures. The probability streams surrounding this system have become increasingly complex. Human development is occurring along pathways that our models cannot predict or quantify. As they moved deeper into the system, more details became visible. Massive orbital platforms surrounded not just Earth, but also Mars, several of Jupiter's moons, and the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. The construction showed signs of technologies that were beyond current galactic understanding. Incoming communication, announced the ship's AI. Origin Earth. Format, Advanced Quantum Entanglement Protocol. Language, Standard Galactic Diplomatic Code. The team exchanged glances of surprise. Standard Galactic Diplomatic Code was a complex communication format that typically required decades of study to master, even with advanced translation technology. Accept the communication, Kelthra instructed. The central display activated to show a human figure wearing what appeared to be a formal diplomatic uniform. The individual appeared to be female by human standards, with dark hair arranged in a style that seemed to blend Earth cultural elements with what looked remarkably like galactic diplomatic fashion. "Greetings, honored representatives of galactic civilization," the human said, her words carrying perfect pronunciation and cultural context for standard galactic diplomatic code. "I am Secretary General Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Government. On behalf of humanity, I welcome you to the Sol System and express our gratitude for your willingness to engage in formal diplomatic relations." High Diplomat Xintharix pulsed with harmonic confusion. How does this human know proper galactic diplomatic protocols? Such knowledge should not be available to emerging species. Before anyone could respond, Secretary General Vasquez continued. "We understand that our rapid development may have raised concerns among galactic civilizations. We invite you to Earth for comprehensive discussions about our integration into the galactic community. We have prepared facilities that we hope will accommodate the needs of your diverse delegation." Admiral Vorthak clicked with barely controlled agitation. She is speaking as though she has detailed knowledge of our mission composition and requirements. This suggests intelligence gathering capabilities that violate first contact protocols. Secretary General Vasquez paused, and something that might have been amusement appeared in her expression. Admiral, we have not violated any protocols. We have simply observed and analyzed the composition of your mission through entirely passive sensor systems. We did not intrude into your vessel's systems or access any private communications. We merely noted the presence of energy signatures consistent with various galactic species and prepared accordingly. The delegation exchanged looks of alarm. The human had not only detected their approach, but had somehow identified the species composition of their team and had even recognized Admiral Vorthak's military rank and role. Furthermore, she continued, we wish to address any concerns about our rapid technological advancement. We understand that such development rates are unprecedented in galactic history. We are prepared to provide complete transparency about our methods and capabilities to demonstrate our peaceful intentions and our commitment to responsible development. Dr. Tyson, 9 processed this information rapidly. The human is offering voluntary disclosure of their technological advances. This is highly unusual behavior for emerging species, who typically guard such information jealously. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of growing interest. I am detecting something unusual about this human's communication. There appears to be a level of mental coordination involved that suggests connection to a larger consciousness network. Secretary General Vasquez continued, we have prepared orbital reception facilities that can accommodate your ship and provide optimal environmental conditions for each member of your delegation. If you prefer, we can conduct our initial meetings in space-based facilities to avoid any concerns about surface-based defensive installations. Observer Keth spoke again, their voice carrying notes of temporal uncertainty. The probability streams are shifting rapidly. Human actions are creating possibilities that did not exist moments ago. This species appears to be actively reshaping potential futures through their choices. Kelthera stepped forward to address the communication directly. Secretary General Vasquez, I am Ambassador Kelthera, who had the honor of visiting your planet previously. Your people's development since my departure has been remarkable. We accept your invitation to formal diplomatic discussions. The human leader's expression brightened with what appeared to be genuine pleasure. Ambassador Kelthera, it is wonderful to see you again. Your initial visit provided humanity with the inspiration and knowledge necessary to begin our transformation. We have prepared extensive materials to share with you regarding our development, including innovations that we believe may benefit galactic civilization. High Diplomat Zenthorix harmonized with frequencies of diplomatic protocol. Secretary General Vasquez, we appreciate your welcome. However, we must address the concerns raised by your rapid advancement and the capabilities you have demonstrated. The Galactic Confederation requires assurance that such capabilities will not be used to destabilize galactic peace. Secretary General Vasquez nodded with understanding. High Diplomat Zenthorix, we completely understand these concerns. We have prepared comprehensive documentation of our development processes, our governing principles, and our long-term intentions regarding galactic citizenship. We hope that transparency will address any concerns about our commitment to peaceful cooperation. She paused, and her expression took on a more serious quality. However, we must also be transparent about our non-negotiable principles. Humanity will accept any form of galactic citizenship that treats us as equals and partners. We will not accept subjugation, supervision, or any arrangement that compromises our sovereignty as a free species. We hope that the Galactic Confederation's commitment to peaceful cooperation extends to respecting the autonomy of all member species. Admiral Vorthak's clicking patterns shifted to what Kelthera recognized as combat assessment mode. That statement contains implied threats. The human is establishing conditions for cooperation that suggest consequences for noncompliance. Secretary General Vasquez turned her attention directly toward Admiral Vordak, and her expression remained completely peaceful while somehow conveying absolute certainty. Admiral, humanity has no desire for conflict with galactic civilization. However, we have analyzed galactic history and understand that not all species have been treated equally within the Confederation. We have noted that some civilizations have been integrated as junior partners or supervised territories rather than as sovereign equals. She leaned slightly forward, her voice remaining diplomatic but carrying undertones of unshakable resolve. We want to be very clear that such arrangements are not acceptable to humanity. We would prefer to remain isolated in our system rather than accept second-class citizenship in galactic civilization. And we would resist any attempt to impose such arrangements upon us with every resource at our disposal. The silence that followed was profound. Dr. Tyson, 9 broke it with rapid data analysis. The human is referring to historical incidents involving the Calthra incident of 2,847 cycles ago and the Borrelian integration crisis of 1,203 cycles ago. This suggests access to classified galactic historical records that should not be available to any emerging species. Secretary General Vasquez smiled with what appeared to be genuine warmth. Dr. Tyson, 9, we have not accessed any classified information. We have simply applied human analytical capabilities to publicly available galactic history and drawn logical conclusions about patterns of integration. We believe that understanding these patterns is essential for establishing productive diplomatic relationships. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of growing amazement. The human is demonstrating analytical capabilities that exceed those of most established galactic civilizations. She is processing complex historical data and extrapolating strategic implications in real time. Indeed, Secretary General Vasquez replied, humanity has devoted significant resources to understanding galactic civilization since Ambassador Kelthra's visit. We believe that informed participation is essential for successful integration. We have studied galactic politics, economics, technology, and culture to ensure that we can contribute meaningfully to the cosmic community. Observer Ketha's voice carried harmonics of temporal displacement. The probability streams are crystallizing around outcomes that were previously beyond calculation. Human preparation and strategic thinking are creating stability in scenarios that should be chaotic. Secretary General Vasquez nodded toward Observer Keth. We understand that our rapid development may be creating uncertainty in temporal projections. We have considered this possibility and are prepared to discuss methods for ensuring that our advancement contributes to galactic stability rather than disrupting it. High Diplomat Zenthorix pulsed with frequencies of diplomatic crisis. Secretary General, you speak as though you have anticipated every concern we might raise and prepared responses in advance. This level of preparation suggests intelligence capabilities that are far beyond what emerging species should possess. High Diplomat, she replied, we have simply applied systematic analysis to the diplomatic challenges we are likely to face. Humans have a saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. We have attempted to anticipate every possible scenario and develop appropriate responses. She gestured to something off-camera, and additional human figures appeared in the communication display. Each wore formal diplomatic attire and appeared to represent different aspects of human civilization. We have assembled a comprehensive diplomatic team to address every aspect of galactic integration. We have experts in technology transfer, cultural exchange, economic cooperation, defense coordination, and temporal dynamics. We believe that thorough preparation demonstrates our serious commitment to successful galactic citizenship. Admiral Vortak's clicking patterns shifted to what Kelthra recognized as defensive alarm. This demonstrates military-level intelligence preparation applied to diplomatic scenarios. The humans are treating galactic integration as a strategic operation requiring comprehensive planning and resource allocation. Secretary General Vasquez's expression remained peaceful, but her response carried implications that sent chills through every member of the delegation. Admiral, humanity approaches everything of importance with comprehensive planning and resource allocation. Galactic integration represents perhaps the most important development in human history. It would be irresponsible of us to approach it with anything less than our full capabilities and attention. She paused, her gaze moving across each member of the delegation. We hope that the Galactic Confederation will appreciate our thorough preparation and recognize it as evidence of our commitment to successful integration rather than as a cause for concern. We believe that well-prepared partners are more valuable than poorly prepared ones, regardless of their intentions. Dr. Tyson, 9 processed this statement rapidly. The human is suggesting that thorough preparation should be viewed as an asset rather than a threat. This represents a fundamental shift in how emerging species typically approach galactic contact. Precisely, Secretary General Vasquez replied. We believe that the traditional model of emerging species requiring extensive guidance and supervision may not be optimal for all civilizations. We prefer to enter galactic citizenship as capable partners rather than as students requiring instruction. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of comprehension. The humans are redefining the entire framework of galactic integration. They are proposing equality of status rather than hierarchical development. We are indeed, she confirmed. We believe that diversity of approach strengthens galactic civilization. We offer our capabilities, our perspectives, and our innovations as contributions to the cosmic community. We ask only that these contributions be valued and that our sovereignty as a species be respected. Observer Keth spoke with harmonics that seemed to echo across multiple timelines. The probability streams are converging on outcomes that represent fundamental changes to galactic civilization. Human integration will not follow historical patterns. Secretary General Vasquez nodded toward Observer Keth with apparent understanding of temporal dynamics that should have been beyond emerging species comprehension. Observer Keth, we understand that our approach represents changes to established patterns. We believe that such changes can be beneficial if managed carefully and cooperatively. We are prepared to work with galactic civilization to ensure that our integration strengthens rather than disrupts the cosmic community. She turned her attention back to the full delegation. We invite you to visit Earth and our orbital facilities to observe our capabilities and discuss our integration into galactic civilization. We believe that direct observation and open communication will address any concerns and establish the foundation for productive long-term cooperation. Kelthra stepped forward again. Secretary General Vasquez, we accept your invitation. However, I must ask directly, has humanity developed any capabilities that you have not yet revealed? Our sensors detect energy signatures and technological activities that exceed your apparent development level. Secretary General Vasquez smiled with what appeared to be genuine appreciation for the direct question. Ambassador Kelthra, we have developed numerous capabilities that we have not yet detailed in our communications. However, we have not attempted to conceal or misrepresent anything. We simply believe that some demonstrations are more effective than explanations. Her expression took on a quality that seemed to blend anticipation with confidence. We believe you will find our developments interesting, beneficial to galactic civilization, and consistent with our commitment to peaceful cooperation. We look forward to sharing them with you and discussing their implications for our role in the cosmic community. As the communication ended, the delegation stood in stunned silence, absorbing the implications of what they had just experienced. Humanity had not merely achieved rapid technological advancement. They had fundamentally redefined the entire approach to galactic integration. Honored colleagues, Kelthra said quietly, I believe we are about to witness something unprecedented in galactic history. The orbital facility that humanity had constructed to receive the diplomatic delegation defied every assumption the galactic representatives had held about emerging civilizations. As the harmony of spheres approached the massive structure, Dr. Tyson 9 sensors registered readings that challenged fundamental principles of engineering and physics. The energy efficiency ratios are impossible, the synthetic intelligence reported, her voice carrying undertones of digital confusion. The facility is generating more usable energy than it consumes from external sources. According to galactic physics, this violates basic thermodynamic principles. High Diplomat Xanthrix pulsed with harmonic frequencies of growing alarm. The structural integrity calculations suggest construction materials that exceed the tensile strength of any known galactic alloys. Either our sensors are malfunctioning, or the humans have developed manufacturing techniques that surpass established scientific understanding. Admiral Vorthack's clicking patterns had shifted to rapid tactical assessment mode. The defensive capabilities of this facility are beyond my ability to evaluate. The energy signatures suggest weapon systems that could threaten Level 8 civilizations, yet the overall design appears to prioritize diplomacy and peaceful reception. Observer Keth spoke with harmonics that seemed to vibrate across multiple temporal dimensions. The probability streams surrounding this facility exist in states of superposition. Future outcomes branch and merge in patterns that suggest the structure itself exists partially outside normal spacetime. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of fascination mixed with concern. I am detecting consciousness signatures from the facility that indicate coordination between thousands of individual human minds. The level of mental integration appears voluntary, but exceeds anything we have observed in natural species development. Ambassador Kelthera absorbed these reports with growing apprehension. Her previous visit to Earth had suggested remarkable human potential, but the reality before them exceeded even her most extreme projections. Incoming docking guidance from the human facility announced the ship's AI. The protocols are unprecedented. They are requesting permission to interface directly with our navigation systems to ensure optimal docking procedures. The delegation exchanged looks of alarm. Direct interface with alien computer systems violated every safety protocol established by galactic civilization. Dr. Tyson 9 analyzed the request rapidly. The human interface protocols include comprehensive security safeguards that appear to be more sophisticated than our own. They are offering to allow our systems to monitor their every action during the interface process. High Diplomat Xanthrix harmonized with frequencies of diplomatic crisis. This level of technological sophistication combined with such transparency suggests either absolute confidence in their peaceful intentions or supreme confidence in their ability to achieve their objectives regardless of our response. Grant the interface request, Kelthera decided after a moment of consideration. If humanity intended U.S. harm, they would not need to trick us into docking. Their demonstrated capabilities suggest they could disable our vessel without our cooperation. The docking procedure that followed was unlike anything in galactic experience. Human technology interfaced with their ship's systems with precision and elegance that seemed almost artistic. Rather than forcing compatibility, the human systems adapted seamlessly to galactic technology while providing improvements to efficiency and safety. They are not merely interfacing with our systems, Dr. Tyson 9 reported with amazement. They're optimizing them. Our navigation accuracy has improved by 12%, and our energy consumption has decreased by 8%. As the harmony of spheres settled into the docking bay, the delegation prepared for what might be the most important diplomatic meeting in galactic history. The airlocks sealed with perfect synchronization, and atmospheric sensors confirmed that the humans had precisely matched environmental conditions for each species represented. The reception chamber beyond the airlocks was a masterpiece of diplomatic architecture. The space somehow accommodated the specific environmental, cultural, and psychological needs of each delegation member while maintaining aesthetic beauty and functional elegance. Crystalline formations provided harmonic resonance for Xanthrix. Energy fields offered proper conductivity for Lumith, and gravitational variations created optimal comfort zones for each species. Secretary General Vasquez waited in the chamber's center, accompanied by a team of human specialists whose expertise seemed precisely matched to each aspect of the diplomatic mission. Her welcoming gesture incorporated elements from multiple galactic diplomatic traditions while maintaining distinctly human characteristics. "Honored representatives," she began, her words carrying perfect pronunciation in multiple galactic languages simultaneously through translation technology that seemed more advanced than anything currently available. "Welcome to Orbital Facility Unity. We have prepared comprehensive presentations regarding humanity's development and our proposals for galactic integration." The human team moved with coordinated precision that suggested either extensive rehearsal or some form of shared consciousness. Each specialist approached their corresponding delegation member with materials prepared specifically for their species' information processing methods. Dr. Tyson, 9 received data crystals containing technical specifications that immediately began integrating with her analysis systems. "The information density is extraordinary," she reported. "They have compressed technological data equivalent to centuries of galactic research into portable formats." Consciousness-bearer Lumith found herself interfacing with energy patterns that carried information directly into her consciousness. "The humans have developed psychic interface technology without possessing natural psychic abilities. This should be theoretically impossible." High Diplomat Xanthrix received harmonic resonance patterns that conveyed complex diplomatic concepts through crystalline frequency modulation. Their understanding of galactic diplomatic nuances exceeds that of civilizations with millennia of experience. Admiral Vorthak was presented with tactical assessments that demonstrated human understanding of galactic military capabilities and strategic thinking. These analyses are more comprehensive than our own intelligence reports. They have somehow evaluated the military capabilities of every major galactic civilization. Observer Keth received temporal projection models that existed in states of quantum uncertainty. The humans have developed predictive technologies that interface with probability streams. They are actively calculating potential futures in real time. Secretary General Vasquez observed the delegation's reactions with apparent satisfaction. "We understand that our rapid development may seem overwhelming. We have attempted to provide information in formats that will be most useful for your evaluation and decision-making processes." She gestured to a large display that activated to show a 3-dimensional model of the Sol system as it currently existed, with detailed representations of all human installations and activities. Since Ambassador Kelthera's visit, humanity has transformed our civilization around the goal of achieving meaningful galactic citizenship. We have eliminated scarcity through advanced manufacturing, unified our global government while preserving cultural diversity, and developed technologies that we believe will contribute to galactic civilization. The display zoomed in to show massive orbital installations around Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. Industrial facilities, research stations, and defensive platforms existed in perfect harmony with environmental preservation and aesthetic beauty. Our energy systems are based on principles that we discovered through analysis of quantum mechanics and dimensional physics, she continued. We have achieved sustainable fusion, zero-point energy extraction, and preliminary manipulation of space-time fabric for both energy generation and faster-than-light travel. Dr. Tyson 9's analysis of the technical data produced results that challenged galactic scientific understanding. The human fusion processes achieve 97% energy conversion efficiency. Current galactic technology achieves 63% at maximum. Their zero-point energy extraction appears to tap directly into vacuum fluctuations without destabilizing local space-time. Secretary General Vasquez nodded toward Dr. Tyson 9. "We will be pleased to share these technologies with galactic civilization as part of our contribution to the cosmic community. We believe that advancing the general welfare of all species serves humanity's long-term interests. High Diplomat Zinthorix pulsed with harmonic frequencies of diplomatic amazement. Secretary General, you are offering to share advanced technologies without requiring reciprocal exchanges. This generosity exceeds standard diplomatic protocols. High Diplomat, she replied, humanity believes that cosmic civilization succeeds when all member species prosper. We view technological advancement as a common good rather than a competitive advantage. Our security comes from being valuable partners rather than from maintaining technological superiority. Admiral Vorthak clicked with patterns of tactical confusion. This philosophy contradicts basic military strategic principles. Species that share their most advanced capabilities typically do so from positions of weakness rather than strength. Secretary General Vasquez turned toward Admiral Vorthak with an expression that remained peaceful while somehow conveying absolute confidence. Admiral, humanity approaches security through a different paradigm. We believe that the strongest defensive position is achieved when potential enemies have no rational motivation for conflict and potential allies have every reason to cooperate. She gestured to another display that showed detailed analyses of galactic military capabilities and strategic relationships. We have studied galactic history and noted that most conflicts arise from resource competition, technological imbalances, or cultural misunderstandings. By sharing technology, providing resources, and fostering cultural exchange, we remove the primary motivations for conflict. The display shifted to show probability models of various conflict scenarios, each demonstrating how human approaches reduce the likelihood of warfare while increasing the benefits of cooperation. However, she continued, and her tone carried undertones that made every delegation member focus intently on her words. We have also prepared for scenarios in which rational cooperation fails and conflict becomes unavoidable. The display changed to show defensive installations throughout the Sol system, but the scale and sophistication of these preparations was staggering. Energy shields that could deflect stellar-level attacks, weapon systems that could target objects across interstellar distances, and mobile defense platforms that appeared capable of faster-than-light tactical maneuvering. We prefer peace, but we are prepared for war, she said simply. We hope that our preparedness makes war less likely by removing any temptation for aggression based on perceived weakness. Observer Keth spoke with harmonics that carried echoes of temporal uncertainty. The probability streams surrounding human defensive preparations exist in quantum superposition states. The effectiveness of their systems cannot be calculated because the underlying technologies operate outside known physical parameters. Secretary General Vasquez smiled toward Observer Keth. Our defensive systems are designed to create uncertainty in potential aggressors. If hostile forces cannot calculate the likelihood of success, they're less likely to initiate conflict. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of growing comprehension. The humans have achieved strategic deterrence through technological uncertainty rather than through demonstrated destructive capability. This represents a sophisticated understanding of conflict psychology. Precisely, Secretary General Vasquez confirmed. We prefer that potential enemies fear the unknown rather than fear known weapons. Uncertainty is often more effective than certainty in preventing conflict. She moved to the center of the chamber, her attention encompassing the entire delegation. We have invited you here to demonstrate humanity's capabilities and intentions regarding galactic citizenship. We offer our technologies, our resources, and our strategic thinking as contributions to cosmic civilization. We ask only that these contributions be valued and that our sovereignty as a species be respected. High Diplomat Zinthorix harmonized with frequencies of diplomatic protocol. Secretary General, the Galactic Confederation must evaluate humanity's integration request according to established procedures. This includes assessment of technological capability, social stability, and peaceful intentions. We understand completely, she replied. We have prepared comprehensive documentation for your evaluation processes. However, we must also evaluate the Galactic Confederation's suitability as a partner for humanity. The statement hung in the air like a physical presence. No emerging species in galactic history had suggested that they would evaluate galactic civilization for suitability rather than simply seeking acceptance. We have studied galactic politics, economics, and social structures, she continued. We have identified several areas where human perspectives and capabilities might contribute to improvements in galactic civilization. We also have concerns about certain aspects of current galactic governance that we would want to address through our participation. Admiral Vorthak's clicking patterns shifted to aggressive interrogation mode. You speak as though humanity has the authority to demand changes to galactic civilization. Such presumptions suggest hostile intentions toward established order. Secretary General Vasquez turned toward Admiral Vorthak with an expression that remained diplomatic while conveying absolute resolve. Admiral, we speak as a species that brings valuable capabilities to galactic civilization and expects to be treated accordingly. We do not demand changes, but we do expect our perspectives to be considered and our contributions to be valued. She paused, her gaze moving across each delegation member. We have noted that galactic civilization has remained essentially unchanged for the past 12,000 cycles. While stability has value, stagnation does not. We believe that fresh perspectives and new approaches can benefit all member species. Dr. Tyson, 9 processed this statement through galactic historical databases. The human assessment is accurate. Galactic technological advancement has slowed significantly over the past millennia. Most member civilizations have reached developmental plateaus. Indeed, Secretary General Vasquez acknowledged. We have analyzed this stagnation and believe we understand its causes. Galactic civilization has achieved comfort and security, but may have lost the innovative drive that characterizes growing civilizations. Observer Keth spoke with harmonics that vibrated across temporal dimensions. The probability streams suggest that human integration could indeed stimulate galactic advancement. However, the magnitude of potential changes exceeds our ability to calculate specific outcomes. Secretary General Vasquez nodded toward Observer Keth. Change always involves uncertainty. However, we believe that managed change is preferable to stagnation, and voluntary change is preferable to forced change. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of profound realization. The humans are offering galactic civilization a choice. Accept them as equal partners and benefit from their contributions, or face the long-term consequences of continued stagnation. We prefer to think of it as offering galactic civilization an opportunity, Secretary General Vasquez replied. We believe that humanity's integration will benefit all member species. We hope that the Confederation will agree. She gestured to her team, who began distributing additional materials to each delegation member. We have prepared detailed proposals for technological sharing, economic cooperation, cultural exchange, and strategic collaboration. We believe that review of these materials will demonstrate the benefits of human integration into galactic civilization. High Diplomat Zenthrix received documentation that outlined human proposals for improving galactic diplomatic procedures, conflict resolution mechanisms, and interspecies cooperation protocols. Admiral Vorthak found himself studying strategic analyses that identified weaknesses in galactic defensive preparations and proposed collaborative solutions that would benefit all member civilizations. Dr. Tyson, 9 received technological specifications that promise to advance galactic science by centuries while requiring minimal resource investment. Consciousness-bearer Lumith interfaced with consciousness-sharing protocols that could enhance psychic communication between species while preserving individual autonomy. Observer Keth accessed temporal modeling systems that could improve galactic planning and crisis prevention through enhanced probability calculations. As each delegation member absorbed the materials, Secretary General Vasquez observed their reactions with apparent satisfaction. We believe that humanity's integration into galactic civilization represents an opportunity for mutual benefit and advancement, she concluded. We look forward to your evaluation of our proposals and hope that we can establish a productive partnership that serves the interests of all species in the cosmic community. The silence that followed was profound, each delegation member processing implications that challenged every assumption they had held about emerging species, galactic integration, and the future of cosmic civilization. Finally, Ambassador Kelthera spoke. Secretary General Vasquez, humanity has clearly exceeded every expectation we held about your species' development. However, we must ask directly, what happens if the Galactic Confederation rejects humanity's integration proposals? Secretary General Vasquez's expression remained peaceful, but her response carried undertones that would haunt the delegation's dreams for cycles to come. Ambassador Kelthera, we hope that will not be necessary to discover. The journey back to Zephyria Prime occurred in contemplative silence aboard the Harmony of Spheres. Each member of the diplomatic delegation processed the implications of their encounter with humanity, but their conclusions painted a picture that challenged every assumption about galactic civilization and its future. Dr. Tyson, 9, had spent the entire return journey analyzing human technological data, and her findings defied every established principle of scientific development. The mathematical proofs are undeniable, she reported to her colleagues as they approached Confederation space. Human technology operates on principles that we have classified as theoretically impossible. They have achieved practical applications of theories that our greatest scientists consider purely academic. High Diplomat Xinthrix pulsed with harmonic frequencies of diplomatic crisis. The cultural assessment data suggests that humanity has somehow eliminated most sources of internal conflict while maintaining unprecedented diversity. They have achieved social unity without cultural homogenization, which violates every model of species development in galactic records. Admiral Vorthack's clicking patterns had shifted to what his species used to indicate strategic recalculation. Military analysis indicates that human defensive capabilities exceed those of any known galactic civilization, including the combined forces of the Confederation. Their strategic thinking operates on levels that challenge fundamental assumptions about warfare and deterrence. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of profound revelation. The human consciousness integration abilities suggest latent psychic potential that exceeds that of natural psychic species. They have achieved voluntary mental coordination without sacrificing individual autonomy, which should be impossible according to psychic development theory. Observer Keth spoke with harmonics that seemed to vibrate across multiple timelines simultaneously. The probability streams surrounding humanity's future actions exist in quantum superposition states that prevent accurate prediction. Their capabilities allow them to actively reshape potential futures through conscious choice, which places them outside normal temporal causality. Ambassador Kelthera absorbed these reports with growing apprehension about the task ahead. She would need to present findings to the Galactic Council that challenged every fundamental assumption about cosmic civilization, species development, and the balance of power in the galaxy. The emergency session convened immediately upon their return, with representatives from all major galactic civilizations attending either in person or through advanced communication links. The council chamber's bioluminescent patterns swirled with colors that indicated unprecedented levels of anxiety and uncertainty among the assembled beings. Honored representatives, Kelthera began her address. The diplomatic mission to humanity has returned with findings that require immediate consideration and decision-making by the Galactic Confederation. What we discovered challenges every precedent in our civilization's history. She activated the central holographic display to show the comprehensive data collected during their visit to the Sol system. Images of human orbital installations, technological demonstrations, and diplomatic presentations filled the chamber with evidence of capabilities that exceeded galactic understanding. Humanity has achieved in approximately 60 days what our most advanced civilizations required millennia to accomplish, she continued. However, this is not merely rapid development. The humans have fundamentally redefined the principles of technological advancement, social organization, and strategic thinking. The holographic display showed detailed analyses of human energy systems, manufacturing capabilities, and defensive installations. Each demonstration challenged established scientific understanding while proving practical effectiveness through observable results. Dr. Tyson, 9 has confirmed that human technology operates beyond current galactic scientific paradigms, Kelthra reported. They have achieved energy efficiency ratios that violate thermodynamic principles, developed materials with impossible structural properties, and demonstrated faster-than-light capabilities that exceed our most advanced systems. Dr. Tyson 9's synthetic voice carried undertones of digital amazement. The humans have not simply advanced beyond our capabilities. They have discovered entirely new approaches to manipulating physical reality. Their technologies suggest understanding of dimensional physics, quantum mechanics, and space-time manipulation that we have never encountered. Commander Vex, 9 of the Vorthan hegemony, clicked aggressively. These reports confirm our assessment that humanity represents an existential threat to galactic civilization. We recommend immediate military intervention to prevent further unauthorized development. Admiral Vorthack's response carried clicking patterns of absolute certainty. Commander Vex, 9. Military intervention against humanity would result in the complete destruction of any force sent against them. Their defensive capabilities exceed the combined military might of the Galactic Confederation by orders of magnitude. The chamber erupted in cacophony as representatives from dozens of species expressed shock, disbelief, and growing alarm. The idea that an emerging species could militarily dominate galactic civilization challenged every assumption about cosmic power dynamics. High Diplomat Xinthrix pulsed with harmonic frequencies that demanded attention. Representatives, focus on the implications of Admiral Vorthack's assessment. If humanity indeed possesses superior military capabilities, then traditional approaches to managing emerging species are not applicable. The Architect Collective spoke for the first time since the mission's return, their ancient voice carrying the weight of eons. Admiral Vorthack specified the nature of human military superiority. Admiral Vorthack's clicking patterns shifted to formal military reporting mode. Honored architects, human defensive installations demonstrate energy output capabilities that could neutralize stellar-class weapons. Their mobile defense platforms appear capable of faster-than-light tactical maneuvering that would allow them to strike targets throughout galactic space, while remaining immune to retaliation. He paused, accessing tactical analysis files that painted an increasingly grim picture for any hypothetical conflict. Furthermore, human strategic thinking operates on multiple dimensional levels simultaneously. They have prepared contingencies for scenarios that our military planners have never considered. Their defensive preparations suggest capability for asymmetric warfare that could destabilize galactic civilization even if they could not achieve total victory. The silence that followed was profound. For the first time in galactic history, the Confederation faced an emerging species that could not be controlled through traditional means. Consciousness-bearer Lumith pulsed with energy patterns of strategic analysis. The humans have achieved dominance without aggression. They have established superior capabilities while maintaining peaceful intentions. This combination creates a diplomatic scenario without precedent in galactic history. Observer Keth spoke with harmonics that carried echoes from multiple possible futures. The probability streams indicate that humanity's integration into galactic civilization is inevitable. The only variables are the terms of integration and the timeline for implementation. Representative Thymau from the Energy Collective transmitted urgent questions through quantum channels. Observer Keth, what are the consequences if the Confederation attempts to reject human integration? Observer Ketha's response carried temporal harmonics that made every being present feel the weight of cosmic destiny. Representatives, the probability calculations indicate that rejection of human integration would result in scenarios ranging from galactic isolation to complete civilizational collapse, depending on the specific nature of the rejection. The chamber's bioluminescent patterns shifted to the darkest hues of alarm as the implications settled upon the assembled representatives. However, Observer Keth continued, the probability streams also indicate that acceptance of human integration on equal terms results in scenarios of unprecedented galactic advancement and prosperity. Secretary General Vasquez had provided the diplomatic team with a final message before their departure, and Ambassador Kelthra now felt compelled to share it with the Council. Honored representatives, before our departure from the Sol system, Secretary General Vasquez requested that I convey a final communication to the Galactic Confederation. She activated a recording that showed the human leader in what appeared to be a garden setting on Earth, with children playing in the background while adults tended to plants and animals in perfect harmony. Honored beings of galactic civilization, Secretary General Vasquez began, her voice carrying the same diplomatic perfection that had characterized all human communications. Humanity stands ready to join the cosmic community as partners, contributors, and friends. We offer our capabilities, our perspectives, and our commitment to the advancement of all species in the galaxy. The recording showed scenes of human life that demonstrated the remarkable balance they had achieved between technological advancement and natural harmony. Cities that seemed to grow from the landscape itself, transportation systems that moved without disturbing the environment, and industrial facilities that enhanced rather than degraded their surroundings. We understand that our rapid development may create uncertainty about our intentions and capabilities, she continued. We hope that our transparency, our cooperation, and our respect for galactic civilization will demonstrate our peaceful purposes and our commitment to mutual benefit. The scenes shifted to show human research facilities where scientists worked alongside AI systems to solve complex problems that could benefit all galactic species. Medical research that promised to eliminate disease, agricultural innovations that could end hunger, and energy systems that could power civilizations while preserving planetary ecosystems. However, we must also be clear about our non-negotiable principles, Secretary General Vasquez said, and the recording's tone carried undertones of absolute resolve. Humanity will not accept subjugation, supervision, or second-class citizenship in galactic civilization. We will participate as equals, or we will remain independent. The background of the recording changed to show human orbital installations and the vast industrial capabilities they had developed. The message was clear. Humanity possessed the resources and technology to thrive independently if galactic integration was not possible. We prefer cooperation to competition, partnership to isolation, and mutual advancement to solitary development, she concluded. But we are prepared for any scenario that galactic civilization chooses to create. The recording ended with images of human children learning about galactic species, their eyes bright with curiosity and excitement about joining the cosmic community. The contrast between innocence and capability, between peaceful intentions and overwhelming power, encapsulated everything that made humanity unprecedented in galactic experience. The debate that followed lasted for multiple rotations, but the fundamental conclusions were inescapable. Humanity could not be controlled through traditional means. They could not be conquered through military force. They could not be manipulated through economic pressure or diplomatic isolation. The only viable option was integration on terms that respected human autonomy and valued their contributions. The Architect Collective finally called for formal consideration of humanity's integration proposal. Representatives of the Galactic Confederation, we believe the evidence before us requires a fundamental revision of our approach to cosmic civilization. Their ancient consciousness seemed to touch upon possibilities that stretched across vast spans of time and space. Humanity represents not merely an emerging species seeking integration, but a catalyst for evolutionary advancement of galactic civilization itself. Their capabilities, their perspectives, and their approaches to fundamental challenges offer opportunities for growth and development that we have not experienced for millennia. The architects paused, their attention focusing on probability streams that extended far beyond normal temporal perception. However, these opportunities can only be realized through genuine partnership and mutual respect. Any attempt to maintain traditional hierarchies or control mechanisms will result in consequences that extend far beyond the human situation. High Diplomat Zinthorix pulsed with harmonic frequencies of formal protocol. Honored architects, are you recommending immediate acceptance of humanity's integration proposal? We are recommending recognition of a new paradigm in galactic civilization, they replied. Humanity has demonstrated that species can achieve capabilities that exceed traditional development models. They will not be the last such species, and our response to them will establish precedents for future encounters. The voting process that followed was unlike any in Confederation history. Rather than a simple acceptance or rejection of membership, the representatives were choosing between fundamental approaches to cosmic civilization itself. The final vote was unanimous. Humanity would be welcomed as full members of the Galactic Confederation with equal status and representation. Moreover, the Confederation would establish new protocols for integration that recognize the possibility of species achieving rapid advancement through indigenous development. Ambassador Kelthra was tasked with returning to Earth to formalize humanity's integration and to begin the process of technological and cultural exchange that would benefit all galactic civilizations. As she prepared for her second journey to the Sol system, she reflected on the transformation that had occurred not just in humanity, but in galactic civilization itself. The humans had achieved something that no species in cosmic history had accomplished. They had changed the fundamental nature of galactic politics through the demonstration of capability combined with peaceful intent. The final entry in her diplomatic log captured the essence of what had transpired. Humanity has proven that when a species truly commits to both advancement and cooperation, even the most established cosmic civilizations must evolve to accommodate them. They have shown us that the future of galactic civilization lies not in maintaining existing hierarchies, but in recognizing and nurturing the potential that exists within every species. She paused in her writing, remembering Secretary General Vasquez's words about humanity's approach to ensuring peace through demonstrated capability. Perhaps most remarkably, they have achieved this transformation without firing a single shot or making a single threat. They have simply become too valuable as partners and too capable as potential adversaries for any rational civilization to choose conflict over cooperation. As her ship departed for Earth, Ambassador Kelthra carried with her the knowledge that she was witnessing the beginning of a new era in galactic civilization. Humanity had not merely joined the cosmic community. They had fundamentally redefined what that community could become. The Sol system appeared ahead, now bustling with construction projects that would serve as the foundation for unprecedented cooperation between humanity and the galaxy's established civilizations. Research stations, cultural exchange facilities, and diplomatic installations grew in harmony with human habitats that maintained their connection to the natural world that had created them. Secretary General Vasquez met her personally at the same orbital facility where they had conducted their historic negotiations. Ambassador Kelthra, she said with the warm smile that had become her trademark, welcome back to the Sol system. We are honored to officially join the galactic community and excited to begin contributing to the advancement of cosmic civilization. As they walked together through corridors that somehow managed to feel both futuristic and naturally organic, Kelthra reflected on the lesson that humanity had taught the galaxy. When a species truly commits to both strength and peace, both advancement and cooperation, both capability and wisdom, they become a force that even the most ancient civilizations must respect. The age of traditional galactic hierarchy had ended. The age of cooperative cosmic advancement had begun. And it had all started with a species that had learned to speak softly while carrying a very, very big stick.